Increased prudence dictates we require status currently broken. It is a privilege.
Planting my firearm. Not what I've ever been, greatly fond of loafing.
Okay, so this is an update for the melee build. I died once. I was trying to just go for this guy. I was more experimenting, trying to see if explosives boost the damage of the shotgun blast. Didn't have enough times to know if it does or not. I don't know what to invest in now. I'm thinking maybe observation for hitting enemies in their weak spots, or like I said, I don't know if this shotgun blast counts as explosion. But anyways, it's on very hard. This is kind of an update of the other build video. Yeah, it's on very hard. These are the perks I've gotten. I experimented with a lot of perks. I would save and then, use the perks against enemies to see how much damage they did or how they functioned. I ended up turning down a lot of ones that I thought I was going to like a lot. Like Tinker. I might get this after I get the perk that gives me better armor. I didn't realize that I needed to get makeshift armor first, so I took this. And I got my armor up to like 700 or 800 or something with this, and I was still taking a lot of damage, which I thought was strange. So there might be an armor cap on your character, I think. Because I thought that if you get your armor up to like 700 or 800, you'd be practically immune to damage, but I seem to be taking less damage, but I think there's a cap on your armor rating. So yeah. And somebody was telling me you can get like plus 40 armor, so maybe that's like the cap that you can get is 40 extra, I don't know. But I got Lucky Strikes, So this is tripling my melee crits instead of doubling them. And what else do I have? Duelist, I've had this since the other build video. This is great. I was fighting these really powerful enemies that had skulls, and they're like, they kind of act like the monkey enemies, the gorilla enemies in the first one, except they look like birds. They have like bird features, but they like act like the gorilla enemies in the first game. They're really fast, they're really powerful. This is good for enemies like that. I don't even think you have to fight them to go through the main story though, but you know, if you want more XP, you can fight them. And you know, there's a lot of Raptidons. This works really well, and there's plenty of room for, like, it doesn't have to be an absolute perfect block. I'm not great at doing stuff like perfect blocks. Like, I usually mash the button to get a perfect block in the first game, but I've noticed that I don't really even have to do that. I can get these pretty consistently. So there's room for error. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. It stuns the enemy for 8 seconds. That is huge. And gunfire is blocked by teammates. So if you're standing behind an enemy who's stunned or you're hitting them or whatever, they will body block gunfire. So pretty much any projectile, even gunfire. The gunfire is so fast that I think it's less noticeable because the enemies are shooting so many bullets. But like, if you're behind a really big enemy, like those giant robots, then you see it becomes very noticeable that the enemies cannot shoot through them. So this is really great for melee enemies. When you're being swarmed by a lot of melee enemies, you can just stun them all and then focus on the other ones that aren't stunned. I took this because I intended to get the other perk, the one after that. What is it? It's the one that gives you inhaler overload, I think. Yeah. This was pretty good. I liked the extra damage. I really liked the movement speed. It only lasts about 10 or 15 seconds. But it is useful. Like, it's more damage. Like, just now when I was fighting that boss, it would have been useful to have extra damage from this, so. But I decided, you know, to get stuff that's more consistent when I'm just fighting all the time. So this is kind of a wasted perk. Hot-blooded is kind of a wasted perk. Long term, at least. Trophy Hunter, this is really good. The crits are really nice. They seem to go off more often. I don't know what counts as strong enemies. I think anybody who just has a decent amount of health, like maybe 1400 or more. Because these crits seem to land, I think that 15% is working more often than I thought it was going to. And that with Lucky Strikes is just a triple damage hit. I just recently stopped using the ice weapon, so now I'm not benefiting from Brand Enthusiast, and unfortunately. I think if I do a melee character in the future, I won't pick this. I really like that it gives more armor and damage, but it really limits your experimenting, like potential mix and matching stuff and trying out the different helmets. I put this helmet on for this battle because it gives me a big damage increase while I'm crashing. And this hammer does so much damage that I wanted to attack that boss quickly. I didn't know there was going to be so many guys after that. But I just kind of wanted to cut his health pool down quickly. I think he had 9,600 health. So yeah, I have this modded. Deals 20% of the weapon's damage in a cone. I believe that stacks with the echoing blows. If it does, then that's like 70% extra damage. So you're getting the hit from the physical attack, then you're getting the shotgun hammer hit, then you're getting the echoing blows and this cone hit. They might have separate chances to get a critical, because I've noticed this damage, this hammer's one-shotting a lot of powerful enemies. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to test it more to see if it benefits from explosives. I have not been using this helmet. I just figured I'd do it to try to kill that boss quickly. But I've been using the Moon Man helmet. I don't know how much damage resistance I'm getting. But it seems like I'm much more durable. I have it on, especially now that I'm carrying 50,000 credits. Still using this Juggernaut armor. This is kind of nice because at the beginning of a battle start, like if you get hit by something that hits you really hard, you know, you're getting a big damage resist. It says plus 30% damage resist, and then you lose 5% of that each time. So yeah, usually when damage starts and you start getting hit, you know, you're trying to get to cover or situate yourself or find a spot. At least the way I'm playing this melee character, I'm trying to find a spot where I can kind of draw the enemies towards me or funnel them or make it so they're not just overwhelming me. So this is nice to have that big damage resist boost in the beginning of battle. But yeah, right now he's not benefiting from Brand Enthusiast, but still this hammer is just ridiculous. This thing hits. I'm not even really spec'd for damage. I mean, I have 20 in melee, but like 50% damage to creatures. There's no creatures right there that I was fighting. Those are human enemies and robots. I guess I could put points in hack to do more damage against robots, since there's a lot of robots with a lot of health. Anyways, let me go back to the perks. What did I not cover? Yeah, this is being wasted, I guess. Unfortunately, I just wasn't that impressed with the. It doesn't last very long. Inhaler Overload. It is a nice boost though, and the movement speed is great. It does increase your combat running sprint speed. So you get a little bit more armor, more evasion chance, more survivability. You go into kind of like a berserk mode, but I think it only lasts about 10 to 15 seconds. I can't say if it's worth it. I mean, it's rare that you're gonna like. I guess for a real tough boss battle, this would be nice. But I just wanted stuff for like, you know, consistent killing mobs. I might get Tinkerer. I don't know how much longer the game is, or how side quests are, or stuff like that. The enemies don't ever seem to respawn. So there's that to think of. But I definitely plan on getting the next perk that's going to allow me to put an extra mod in the armor piece. And then I'm going to put, I don't know if you can put duplicates, but if I can, I'm going to put another blight fortifications in there. If I can't, I'll stack something else in there. Maybe just a defense 10%.